Hi, my name is Kioka Jones, and I'm the TA president of 235 West 116th Street in Harlem. I moved into the building in 1998, ready to buy my apartment in the TIL program. Our building was in the TIL program since 1989. However, we've gone through a lot of challenges and we've been lied to by HPD in terms of becoming homeowners. Our building was in the DAMP program, but previous to the DAMP program, our building was in the TIL program. We followed all of the different requirements doing the UHAP trainings, and I was told in 1998 that I would be able to purchase my apartment. At the time that I moved to the building in 1998, I moved into the building pregnant with twins and with a family of 4. At that time, United TIL Coalition of Harlem was managing the building, but about 3 years after that, they expunged, and so HPD began to manage our building as management. They then turned the building over to Prestige Management, and for about 4 to 5 years, Prestige Management managed our building. However, they did a really lousy job. They did not provide heat or hot water, and so many different problems that we were able to fire Prestige Management for managing our building, and then the city took the building back over and began managing again. And then we received a letter about, I would say about 2008, saying that our building was being managed by Abyssinian Development Corporation / Prestige Management. And at that time, Abyssinian Development did not provide any services either. So we constantly were calling down to 95 Broadway, 100 Gold Street, complaining about the services that we did not receive. We have so many paper trails calling 311, reporting no heat, no hot water, no elevator, broken steps. You name it, we had it. At the time, I was employed by JP Morgan, and I was very upset one day when Abyssinian Development came to the building after managing us for 5 years and not checking on the property, ensuring that we had services. And I said to the HPD and the Abyssinian Development Corp rep, do you know that I work for Jamie Dimon and our foundation gives you guys money? How would he feel if one of his employees lived in these types of horrible conditions? They looked at me and said, oh, well, we didn't know all of this was going on. After that, they left the building, and then we were told by HPD that Artemis Construction / K&R Realty was going to take over the building and manage the building again. We had been through several management companies by this time, and of course all of them had promised that with the management that they would also help us to become homeowners. But of course they lied. And so when K&R came into the building, you know, I had already been looking for an attorney to help us because we knew that we were getting ready to get into a legal challenge. We hired pro bono, of course, the Legal Aid Society represented the Tenants Association. And with help, we were able to develop a relocation plan because we were told that we were going to be part of an 8-building cluster, which all of the buildings were going to be renovated and brought up to standard and brought up to code in terms of building codes and stuff like that. And so there were various meetings that the tenants were invited to. And at that time, myself and the Vice President, Barbara Brown, went door to door to the other 7 buildings to see what were these properties that K&R were going to be renovating. Well, we found out that 3 of the properties were occupied and 5 were vacant. And they were located all through Harlem, some on 137th Street, some on 131st Street, and some on 122nd Street. And so as we went door to door talking to the tenants, we met tenants that had lived in the building for 46 years, and elderly and sick and frail, and they had no understanding of what was about to happen, nor did they understand they had no guarantee for their future. And so we invited them to come to Palante Harlem to meet with us. We offered our legal services from the Legal Aid Society. And you could just see the fear on their faces. And we told them, you know, you have to stay encouraged, you have to stay together. And they were so confused because they were just in the TIL program just yesterday, and then they received a letter saying they were no longer in the TIL program. At the time that our legal aid attorney was sort of investigating, getting more information about our building, he requested for the file from HPD, and he was told that in the file there was there was a letter that supposedly said that we had been kicked out of the TIL program in about 1999 or 1998, and so neither one of myself or the other officers of the Tenants Association could actually verify this letter. We had never seen the letter. We had never been told about the letter. And so Mr. Wu, our attorney from Legal Aid, let us know that there's no chance you all can become a TIL program again, or TIL building in the program. And so the only option was for us to look at this other damp management program, this alternative damp program, which of course is when HBD brought in Artemis Construction and KNR. At that time, again, we had the various meetings in the community, and then we were told that we would be moving out of the building, and then all of the 8 buildings would go through a renovation, a gut rehab, as they put it. And so we asked about how much monies it would be involved, and how come we couldn't still be our own homeowners in our apartments. We were told that the gut rehab would cost $24 million, and that the first round of loan requests had been denied or not approved by Bank of America. And so we had to wait until about 2015 until the city underwrote the loan for KNR to receive the funds to renovate our building. About the summer of 2015, all of the tenants at 235 West 116th Street were relocated except for one. He refused to move out, and we moved to various buildings that KNR managed. Some of us were moved to Washington Heights, and for myself and my family, which I was very lucky, we were able to stay in our neighborhoods. At that point, we lived in smaller spaces. I unfortunately had bed bugs due to the apartment that I lived in temporarily. I had to throw away all of my furniture. And just about 3 months ago, the original tenants that moved out of the building returned back to 235 West 116th Street building. And so we've been living there now with the renovations, and we're sort of adjusting, and we're finding that some of the repairs, like the roof, for example, was leaking last night and this morning, and we notified KNR, and they said that sometimes with a new roof, there's going to be leaks. And so we said, how does a new roof become leaks? We find that in some of the connections of electrical work, there were not proper things. So we're wondering now who signed off on this thing. In addition, we went from a gas environment with our cooking to electric cooking, and we're not sure who actually approved that. So there are some concerns even as we have moved into what looks to be a nice building.